Happy family, what's going on? It's your boy Jay Murray here to share some exciting news from your people from Anchor. Hey, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's an easy way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There's creation tools that will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone and computer. I know, right? Very easy. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Happy family, this is your boy Jay Murray.
Happy Hood, the podcast.
Message. What's going on, family? How you doing? And welcome back to the neighborhood. It's your favorite neighbor here, Jay Murray, and this is Happy Hood, the podcast, where we connect, cultivate, and build. Happy Hood, it's a state of mind. We blessed up and highly favored. Oh, happy family. I'm so glad that you chose to join us again here in the neighborhood. You know, Happy Hood, we are a purpose-driven lifestyle brand committed to the betterment of humanity. You know, we believe in connecting with like-minded individuals, cultivating passion, purpose, ideas, and building relationship networks, communities that are centered around health, honoring our mind, body, and soul, agape, demonstrating God's love to the world, power, continuous self-learning, and institute, fostering a community-based economy. So season 4 of Happy Hill, the podcast, we're talking about happy living. It's a state of mind.
We talking about
happy living. It's a state of mind. So season 4, we're going to talk to some phenomenal individuals that I truly believe really encompass the values, the beliefs of Happy Hood. You know, and today's guest definitely does that. So before we get into our discussion with our guests, I just want to share a happy thought. You know, just like previous series, you know, giving you meditation, inhale, meditate, exhale, meditate, as well as just giving you attitude of gratitude, which again, you can go listen to that right now, all 21 episodes. So the happy thought today, as I was kind of thinking and prepping for this, you know, the happy thought is progress over perfection. Progress over perfection. You know, there's so many of us, you know, as I kind of think about it, you know, even as we go, hopefully during this, I guess we're entering into this post-pandemic world, you know, and there's been so many things that we have learned. But more importantly, I guess also think about it from another perspective, that these are new experiences that we never have experienced before, right? We never have experienced, you know, this new normal. And some of us, even excluding the pandemic, we never have experienced, you know, being a parent. You know, as I kind of think about, you know, with my daughter, had a conversation with her the other day, you know, I say, you know what? I never done this before. You know, I never raised 11-year-old daughter. You know, it's kind of almost like, you know, asking for grace. And I kept thinking about it around just that thought. And it came to me, progress over perfection. Progress over perfection. You know, sometimes perfection can be the enemy to progress. Perfection can be the enemy to progress. So as you think about, you know, whether some of us, I know so many people that have babies during these couple of months or over the years, of people starting new businesses, always be grateful for progress over perfection. You know, allow that progress to really allow you to be grateful for what you're doing. You know, because we never can truly get to any type of perfection. You know, when you think about it, we really can't. So progress over perfection. That's your happy thought for today. So speaking of today, as I said, we have an amazing guest. I really think this episode is really going to be very informative. As I said before, season 4, we're talking about happy living. It's a state of mind. And, the values of happyhood is health, agape, power, and institute, And this season, we're going to talk to individuals that's truly living that out day in and day out. And this individual definitely is truly doing that. She's truly doing that. She is truly an entrepreneur. When you think about fostering a community-based economy, continuous learning that she's doing for herself, but also for others. So this is definitely, get your pen and paper today. This is definitely going to be a learning opportunity for all of us. So my guest is a insurance agent, or you can think of her as a financial professional, and she is the owner of J. Cooper and Associate. That is a financial services. So she specializes in a lot of different financial services that she's going to share with us today. So our guest today is Miss Juanita Cooper. Welcome her to the neighborhood.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Jay. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being on with us. I know it's kind of interesting. My mom, she kind of connected us together, just again, some of the wonderful work that you was doing with my parents, again, helping them, helping them get to a better situation. So much of being a financial service or being a financial professional is helping individuals get to a better situation, right? And definitely navigating them through these ups and downs. So, Juanita, I guess where I want to start is with you having your very own financial services. Tell us a little bit about your services. Tell us a little bit about J. Cooper's and Associates.
Okay. Well, ironically, I actually stepped out on my own right before the pandemic hit. So in January 2020, after having been an independent contractor with another small financial firm here in Charlotte, I stepped out on faith, made some plans, continued progress over perfection. I love that.
Yes.
And stepped out on my own in January. Actually took a vacation for a month because, when you work for yourself, it's nonstop. And so I worked hard for 6.5 years.
Good for you. Good for you to take some time to reflect.
Yes. You have to take some time to recharge, sharpen your saw, iron sharpen iron kind of thing. Paid my first month's rent at my new office here in South Park.
All right. Come on, someone.
Struck in March.
All right. Good job.
Yeah. So the pandemic struck in March, and, boy, I tell you what, being an entrepreneur, one thing you cannot do is panic. You have to continue progressing forward.
Oh, wow.
So, luckily, I had supportive clients and just continued to do what we do, which is retirement income planning is my primary focus.
Okay.
I work with people who are preparing for retirement, what we call are in the retirement red zone within 5 years of retirement.
Okay.
Or maybe they just retired. Doing income planning, because when you retire, you need income and you need to know where that's coming from and what that picture looks like. And so as a part of that, I offer a holistic approach to your finances. I'm going to ask you some nosy questions if you're my client, but in the end, all of my clients are my friends, they're my aunties, they're my uncles, they're, cousins. We know a lot about eeach other. Because we're going to look at Social Security strategies. We're going to look at planning for long-term care. I also am building a business in several states around Medicare and helping people navigate that complexity as far as life insurance, because that's very different at that age. Looking at housing wealth, legacy planning. Also work with people managing career change after 50. That's an entirely different conversation. But some of my clients several of my clients have benefited from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I do the legacy planning and life insurance.
Yes.
And so all of those are financial decisions that people have to make.
Yeah.
And how and when you make them and how often you review them and adjust your plan is very important.
Sure.
Particularly when you get ready to retire. But also I'm getting more and more requests from young professionals, people between the ages of 35 and 50,
sure,
who are in the process of building their careers, probably making the most money they will make, but who can say? That's always up in the air as to how that rolls. But you know, you're in the prime of building your life, having your family, you know, getting your home, having a car, those kinds of things.
Yeah, yeah.
So what you do during those times also set you up for your future.
Yeah.
And most people don't think enough about their future until they're in it. So I try to help young professionals prepare better for that and have confidence about it and peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Happy family again. Juanita Cooper. No, awesome things. I mean, because there's so much that you said, even just kind of connecting to the happy thought, progress or perfection, because I can only imagine, you know, you stepping out as far as your entrepreneur aspiration, and hello, pandemic happens, you know, so I can only imagine, you know, maybe some of the conversations that you had with yourself and how that was. And I'm curious, like, how was that process, you know, of you really at the time of saying, okay, I'm going to, you know, do this myself. But I mean, I guess to say what helped you, I guess is a better way to stay on track and to know that, hey, this is what I'm doing. And, you know, there's no plan B, there's plan A, and that's it. Right. What kind of helped you to continue to stay on track and continue to move in that direction?
Well, first of all, you know, God did not give us a spirit of fear, and this was a God step.
Come on.
I knew that if God would be with me and for me, who could be against me? And so, you know, I just get chills thinking about how God has kept me during this time, because I have not missed a beat. I have not missed a rent payment. My phone is
come on now.
Referral. Yes. So when you step out on faith, you know, you're stepping out believing from the beginning of what you can do. I didn't have all the answers. Again, aside from, you know, God being, you know, my guide, I had to readily and quickly accept that this was not going to be a perfect move. You know, the pandemic showed me that. So no perfection, but just progress toward the goal.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's why I can really relate to your progress over perfection.
Yeah, that's good. Now, you mentioned some of the services, and even as you mentioned, life insurance, and especially where you're getting now that your clientele, you know, more the younger professionals. More that's in their career, have been in their career, established professionals, and really that's the kind of taking some analytics numbers are looking at our podcast audience. You know, the analytics definitely tells we're definitely around at 35 to 40. So I think again this conversation is going to hit right at home. But as you mentioned, you know, working with those established or young professionals. Why is it so important, in your opinion, for us, because I'm part of that generation, to begin preparing? Because a lot of us, and I won't say a lot of us, but at times, especially as you mentioned, we don't start preparing until something happens. That's too late, right?
Yeah.
It's too late, and then we start preparing, right? Again, just kind of fundamentally thinking about it. Why is it so important to begin preparing?
Well, because life happens to us all. I mean, we've seen enough, we've heard enough, we've seen enough. Most of us know someone where something weird, something odd has happened. You don't have to be old to get sick. You don't have to be, you know, old to become disabled. I had a cousin who developed an autoimmune disease that took her out of work at age 40. So I began to see right there in front of my own eyes the challenges that she was having. And the story with that is that really got me more focused on wanting to work with younger people is twofold. One, in my cousin's situation, we were having a conversation as her illness progressed and her health was declining. And I asked her, do you have life insurance? She said, yes, I've got $100,000 of life insurance. And I said, oh, great. She had a son. She had a son that was like 8th grade. So we're thinking about his future and all of that. And I, at that point, was not the professional I am today, because this was some years ago.
Sure.
And I didn't ask her any details about that life insurance. Well, my cousin, rest her soul, passed 6 years ago at the age of 55. And when she passed, a few months passed, and I called my uncle and said, you know, I do this for a living. If there's anything I can review with you in terms of life insurance documents, let me know.
Sure.
He said to me, that life insurance is not worth the paper it's written on. I said, what do you mean? It was accident insurance, which meant that unless she passed from an accident, there would be no payout. So now we have a child that's a teenager in high school. My aunt and uncle are in their late 70s. They now have to become active grandparents, and no cushion, no money, nothing there to help this young man, and not to mention plans for college and all that.
Wow.
You know, no way to pay for that.
Wow.
So that's one example that really got me looking at life insurance. And then when I started looking at life insurance and traveling around the country and being with top professionals and other financial professionals, being with the tops in the country, and learning all the different strategies about the ways you can use life insurance and what life insurance true purpose is, then I became passionate about reaching out, particularly to younger people.
Juanita, you hit something that I wanted to, because again, I think is you kind of you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yes, that's true.
and even as you made that, you know, like as you were talking to your uncle and realizing, or you know, him providing additional detail, like that wasn't necessarily life insurance, that was accidental insurance. So I guess for it, you know, to put it very plain and simple, like define life insurance.
Okay, that's good. That's great. Life insurance, first of all, is a financial vehicle, and it's a financial decision that you make. It's one of the most important decisions you can ever make, and it's a pathway to building wealth. So life insurance is really multifaceted.
Okay,
it's not about the death. Now, I gave the example of the death because that was my cousin's situation.
Sure,
but again, she wanted to leave a legacy and something in place for someone she cared about, and that was her son. That was her only child. That was the godsend. That was the child we never thought would come.
Oh, wow.
And here at the end, because she was sold something she didn't understand, because to me, I use life insurance as a solution and not a sales tool. I'm not selling anything. I don't sell stuff. When people come to me, they come because they're looking for solutions. They have goals. They have dreams. They want to learn how to build wealth. That's why I work with life insurance. So life insurance is a tool for several things. It's protection when you need it. Its primary purpose is to replace income. A young couple married, and God forbid if the primary breadwinner, which in most cases today is both the couple, the man and the wife, or the two partners, let's say, and if something should happen to the other, even if they couldn't work, they may not necessarily pass. Yeah. But what if they could no longer work? Then that income replacement becomes very important. Another example, briefly, because life insurance is different kinds of insurance, disability insurance. I'm bringing that up briefly. Okay. Because when I first moved to Charlotte, I had a dentist, and he was in the uptown area, and I went to him several years. Great dentist. And suddenly one day he wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't there because something happened with his hands. I never knew what happened, but he could no longer use his hands.
Mm-hmm.
His hands is the tool of his business, and he could no longer make that income.
Yeah.
So I prayed that he had good disability coverage and things of that nature. And what you'll find is that a lot of professionals are so busy working, particularly entrepreneurs and young professionals. We're so busy, going after the bag, getting the cash, getting the dollars,
mm-hmm.
that we are not focused on what we need to do to protect ourselves in case of.
Mm.
So life insurance is in case of life happening.
Okay. And as you mentioned, you provide solutions.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely one of the biggest things that, and kind of going into that direction, like misconceptions around life insurance, like is not to. Well, I'll let you kind of talk to us about some of the misconceptions, around life insurance, and I would say let's even narrow it down, even as you think about as far as the Black community, and one thing I have to say, like with my father, he told us, like, take life insurance out on me, take it out on me and your mom, because again, it can be used for wealth building, it can be used for certain things like that. And, I guess at the time, there may have been, in our community, some misconception, like, why are you trying to, get paid off of me, my debt, something to that nature. But, I think, again, kind of talking about, the misconceptions around like life insurance, it's not a get rich scheme or, a salesy type thing. Like, talk about the misconceptions.
Okay, I will. First of all, people relate life insurance to just being about death. Mm-hmm. And, most of us don't want to think about death. You don't want to think about that. So that's the first misconception. Mm. But there are, just like cell phones. Cell phones, your audience may remember them as flip phones if they remember that at all. Uh-huh. But I remember when cell phones were bag phones, like in the Batman car.
Yeah.
And just like cell phones have evolved, and now it's your GPS, it's your calculator, it's your pedometer, it's your telephone. It's so many things. Life insurance has evolved that same way in terms of what it can offer.
Wow.
So one of the things about life insurance that I offer to my clients that they really like is I offer products that have living benefits.
Okay.
In the case of a chronic illness or a critical illness like my cousin had, that policy, if she'd had the appropriate policy, it could have advanced some of the death benefits and put cash in her pocket right then to pay bills, to pay for doctor visits, to pay for medication, or to save, whatever you want to do with it. There's no rule what you have to do with the money. Mm-hmm. So that's the first misconception, is that life insurance is only about death. That is not true. Mm-hmm. The second misconception is that you can't afford life insurance. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm here to tell you that the best time to buy life insurance is when you're young. I wish someone had told me that.
Yeah.
Because you're healthy, you're at less risk for the company that's insuring you, and you can get a lot of insurance for less than your cell phone bill. Wow. I've been hooking up my young professionals. I've got a young couple in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. He got his insurance first, and they were engaged, and then she got hers. And she has insurance through her job, which is another misconception. I have insurance because I'm working. And you feel good because you got 4 times your $60,000, $70,000 salary. That's great. But that is term group insurance, and when you leave, you would not be able to afford that insurance on your own. So guess what? When you get laid off or furloughed or whatever the case may be, you no longer have life insurance.
Wow.
Things happen in between jobs.
Yeah. And
I tell my young professionals, you can plan to be laid off for a length of time, at least 3 times in your lifetime in today's world. Now, that wasn't true for our parents.
Yeah.
You could work somewhere 30 years and get your gold watch and go home and you'll be fine. But I'm also seeing a lot where my older clients, they have felt secure with the life insurance they had through their job.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they retired, they didn't have insurance. Wow. And guess what?
Yeah.
They couldn't get a lot of life insurance because it's expensive at that time. They're older, and they more than likely have a health challenge or two going on.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that life insurance is part of a plan. It's not a dirge about death.
Yeah.
I tell people to use the DIME approach, DIME, like the coin. Life insurance, how much you need, it needs to cover your debt. Mm-hmm. It can replace income. In some people, it helps pay the mortgage, or in some cases, pay off the mortgage, and it covers expenses. Mm-hmm. So when you think about life insurance, it's a financial tool that everybody should have. Wow. Everybody should have, because life happens to us all. And again, you have those living benefits, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now, as you talk about like living benefits, can you like expound on that a little bit?
Sure.
What are some of those living benefits, and how do you take advantage of them, or like what's the stipulations?
Okay. Well, it's based around protecting you in case you become ill.
Okay.
So that's what living benefits is. It means that you can take a portion of the death benefit. So say you have a $100,000 policy. Uh-huh. And you become ill, and the company will define what the illnesses are. It's usually like between 8 and 12 illnesses, usually the heart attack, stroke, different things, lupus and things like that. It depends on the company. They're not all the same, but they're pretty general. And don't think that 33-year-olds can't have a heart attack. I got news of someone that happened last week. So when you have a critical illness like that, or a sudden illness, this policy may say that they will send you a $40,000 check, which would take away $40,000 from the $100,000, still leaving you with a decent death benefit. But now you can use that money while you're living.
Okay.
To pay for bills, to keep your family going, keep yourself going. And the best part about insurance, especially if it's a living benefit, but the same with death benefits, is that it's tax free.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Life insurance is tax free. It is one of the only vehicles you can use to create a tax free bucket of income.
Wow.
So most people don't realize that. But when I say living benefits, usually with insurance policies that I offer, if you become terminally ill, you can get an advancement of part of the death benefit, so that you can take care of bills, business. Again, you're talking about preserving your home.
Yeah.
People lose their homes over not being able to pay the mortgage or the taxes, or the property taxes.
Yeah.
And listen, GoFundMe is not a plan.
Come on. Yeah.
I see so many GoFundMes because nobody has insurance. I insure children. I really encourage my younger people, when they're billing their families, my younger clients, go ahead and get insurance on their children. It's pennies on the dollar. It's no cost. No cost.
Definitely.
So that's really what living benefits are. It's the main reason why you should get life insurance. It's because of the living benefit.
And with that, and again, thank you. We talking to Juanita Cooper. She's the owner of J. Cooper and Associates. She is a financial professional. So Juanita, as you talk about some of the misconceptions and these, living benefits, and again, kind of going back to, as you mentioned, far as, getting life insurance at a young age, is there a recommendation on what type of life insurance? Because, I have, I guess on the surface level, I know the term, I know universal life, in which I did both of those things, me and my wife, when we got married. So I definitely can speak to that happy family about just the low cost of that insurance. Yeah. But is there a particular a life insurance type that you should lean more towards, at the beginning or early on in your life, especially young, just working, just starting a family?
Yeah, that is a great question. And there are several types of life insurance. just to keep it simple for this purpose of this interview, you either get term or you get permanent insurance. And there are different types of permanent insurance.
Okay.
And so if you get term insurance, that's less expensive because it means just that it is for a term, for a period of time. If you're still living after that time, then you have no insurance. So the term might be 20 years, it might be 30 years. And a young couple starting out, term insurance is a great idea. It will it's less expensive, and it will still give you the benefit, God forbid, should something happen. Now, with term insurance, a lot of times you may or may not get all of the living benefits. It just depends. But they are available out there depending on the type of plan that you come up with. So that is term for a period of time. And I have run into so many people that had term or didn't think about they had term and then it expired, and they're trying to get some more insurance after that term has expired. And the other time is permanent insurance or whole life insurance. And there's different kinds of whole life and permanent insurance. And it is for your whole life.
Okay.
You pay a monthly premium. You'll pay a little bit more, but it is for your whole life.
Okay.
And so a lot of times I will start my younger professionals off getting them comfortable and getting it into their groove of paying and counting it as an expense. I will start them off a term, but then I urge them to convert that term, because there are convertible term policies where after the first year or so of owning that policy, you can move into a permanent or a whole life policy offered by that same company without going through any additional underwriting.
Yeah. And
underwriting simply means they're going to ask medical questions. They're going to go to the Medical Information Bureau and see if you know what kind of medicines you're taking, because that's how they measure risk, and that's how they determine how much you pay for insurance.
Oh, wow.
So once you've gone through the underwriting, then you can convert to permanent, which is a good strategy. You know, as your salary increases and things change and you're growing in your career, then you still will have insurance, but now you'll have it permanently without going through any more underwriting. So my young professionals really like that option that I offer. Okay. So, you know, you're doing how you use life insurance and how you set it up depends on your goals and what you have in mind. For instance, like for young professionals, I show them how to use life insurance as a retirement strategy. Nobody ever talks about that.
Yeah.
It's something that our counterparts know. You were mentioning in the Black community, I read a statistic the other day, and it was just so disheartening to know that over half of African Americans have no net worth. That means after you subtract your expenses and debt from your assets, it equals zero.
Wow.
Well, with life insurance, one thing that can happen when you're paying into it, when you have a permanent or a whole life policy, it's building cash value. It's like a little piggy bank inside your life insurance. They take a portion of your premium and place it into this cash value account. And I've seen clients who only got like maybe a $40,000 life insurance policy 30 years ago, but they've got $60,000 cash value in it right now.
Wow.
Which means if they needed to repair a roof, or if they had a medical procedure or something they needed to do, they can get a loan from that policy, not have to pay it back, and you borrow from yourself. So there's all kinds of strategies that we break out into when you come in to see me, because I'm going to evaluate and do an analysis over what your needs and goals are. But with the young professionals, there is a type of life insurance policy that you can fund. It's a different strategy than just paying a monthly premium, but you can actually then take money out in your retirement years as a stream of income.
Wow.
So again, just like the cell phone has evolved.
Yeah.
Just like the cell phone has evolved, so has life insurance and the strategies behind it. I recommend that people contact someone like myself for a financial professional who can share these different strategies with you.
Come on.
Message.
So, by the way, Jay, I didn't know if I could give out my toll-free number.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can give it out now.
I'm licensed in many states, and people can reach me at 877-208-8255. So, being an entrepreneur, one thing that's under construction is my website. So you can't see much about me out there right now because as the transition occurred. But that website should be up within the next month or so.
Great.
You can reach me in the meantime for consultation.
And again, Juanita, you said that number is 877-270-4979. Did I get that right?
No, 877-208-4977.
4977.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure that's included. Happy family. Again, we're talking about happy living. It's a state of mind. We're talking to individuals that truly, I believe, encompass the values of Happyhood, Health, Agape Power Institute. And we are speaking today with Juanita Cooper, the owner of J. Cooper and Associates. She specializes in an array of financial services. Juanita, one question that I was over here pondering on as you was just kind of talking about the differences of term and permanent insurance, what would you say are, to understand the details that's within your insurance? For myself, I purchased life insurance at a young age. I purchased right when me and my wife got married. I was like, when we was 25, we did a term, we did a universal. Mm-hmm. But of course, when they giving you all this information, all this paperwork and the details, right? And I don't know if this is something that occurred with your cousin where she thought it wasn't in life insurance, but more it turned out to be just accidental coverage. Like what certain things should, as individuals that's not, let me rephrase that. How should we read the paperwork? What certain things should we look for, especially even as we examine our parents' insurance? We just helped my father convert his term into a whole life. And, I thank God for my experience working in a investment services, and I study for
financial industry too.
Yeah, exactly. I study for a certified financial planner, in which it definitely helped me to help my father navigate that. But again, for those that just are novice to this, like, how do you read like the insurance paper? What certain things should you look for?
Okay, well, first of all, the person that you're working with should be speaking to you in plain language. Mm-hmm. If it's things you don't understand, you've got to ask questions. Say, raise your hand. Say, wait a minute, I'm not sure I understand that. But you don't have to become a expert to understand your life insurance policy. That's what I'm here for. Mm-hmm. So one of the things you want to do is look at that cover page to see on there what amount of coverage you have and how exercise that coverage. When does that coverage come into play? Okay. What are the circumstances it comes into play? And all of that will be outlined in the policy under different headings and topics. But the best way to know what you have is if you have a relationship and it wasn't just somebody that just knocked on your door or made a robocall or you went online and just picked one. You don't have a relationship in that case. In my case, my clients have a relationship with me, and I'm going to do a policy review with them at least every couple of years. And for people who've had life insurance for, say your policy is 10 or 12 years old, I suggest you pull that policy out and contact somebody, even myself, because I review policies that I did not put into place for people.
Okay. That's good to know.
Just to help them understand, this is good, this is what you have, because I'm not about trying to say, oh, you got to come with me. Yeah. If what you have is working for you and it's fine, I can tell you that.
Sure.
But you need to be able to have a policy review. And the more you have these policy review every couple of years, then you begin to absorb how the policy works and you gain more confidence. I don't think too many people have a lot of confidence about the workings of a policy in the beginning. Yes. The main thing to know is that you got insurance.
Yeah.
But what you do need to know is whether or not this is the type of insurance that you thought you purchased.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, my cousin probably ordered something through the insert that comes in the Sunday paper. That's how you get $100,000 of accidental insurance. You know, nobody knocks on your door to offer that. I don't offer that insurance. I don't even offer it. Or I have had people, even myself, your credit union may say, "Oh, you qualify for $1,000 worth of insurance." Okay, I'll take it. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
But again, it's term insurance, and it's there as long as it's there, but it's not when you need it. I think when people get insurance, they need not rush into it. It's okay to, if someone should be showing you a comparison, they shouldn't be just showing you one thing. And they also should start out by asking you, what are your needs, goals, and objectives? What's your current circumstances? Are you a homeowner? Do you have a mortgage? What's your college planning? What's your savings like? Those kinds of things. Yeah. And then for your parents, hats off to you, Jay, for doing that, because we have to sit down and have conversation with our parents. None of us are going to live forever.
Yeah.
And some parents are more open to the conversation and to share their finances than others. I know about that firsthand. But we have to continue to gently have the conversation, because everybody that I have things in place for, they feel so much more at peace.
Yes.
And I always say to people, when you're prepared, nothing happens. But the worst happens to those who aren't prepared. I
You're right.
see that all the time.
You're right.
Yeah. So you were talking about African Americans, and I want to go back to the Black community.
Sure. Go ahead.
And I have a statistic that says typically Black Americans have about 1/3 of the coverage of their white counterparts, according to a study by Haven Life done in 2020. And there's a lot of reasons for these sizable gaps. A lot of it has to do with how insurance was sold in the Black community and discriminatory practices around coverages.
Wow.
Did you know up until 1970, African American couldn't even buy more than a couple of $1,000s worth of insurance?
Wow.
1970 is not that long ago.
No, it's not. It's not.
We were still considered to be less than we were considered to be 2/3 of a person in the law, and companies would not insure us for a whole lot. So people didn't bother to get insurance.
Yeah.
So now if you can get $1 million policies, $500,000 policies, and listen, you can have as many policies as you want. So I've talked to people, I already got that. Well, let's review what you have. Maybe it's time to update it. Maybe it's time to change it, or maybe it's time to add to it.
Yeah.
Your life circumstance may have changed. Maybe you bought it when you were single. Now you got a family of
True
5.
Indeed.
You got 3
True
kids.
indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
And
so
that's,
there's a lot of reasons to always review and consider life insurance for your current needs as well as your future needs.
Yeah, because that's one thing, Juanita, that you definitely kind of hit on. And Happy Family is, I would say this, and it's almost the same thing. You kind of hear this analogy a lot, right? Is again, we go to the doctor to get checkups. We go to the mechanic to get our car checked up.
We plan vacations. We spend more time planning a vacation than we do what our retirement's going to be.
Exactly. And the thing about it that that really continue to stand up is like, you need to have these financial checkups, to make sure where you stand. Because I mean, even just with me and my wife, when we got insurance, we didn't have kids. Now we continue to talk with our insurance individuals that's in our family, and we did our kids and everything. But even now, that was about my son, he'll be 5. That was like when he was born. And continue to have these kind of checkups would definitely help to prevent you from something occurring that you could have prepared for. Because I think again, the things that sometimes may not be familiar with is just, as you said, as the life insurance evolves, or as you grow, or as your life evolves, and that
your life changes.
Your life changes, and circumstance change, and that insurance is no longer applicable to your situation no more. It may
not be enough. You want to have enough coverage. I don't think you can be overinsured. You know, a single person may not need as much as a person with a family. You know, there are different things that come up, but your circumstances and your needs change. And then listen, again, this is how you build wealth. I mean, after all, why do you think how many Lifetime movies have you seen where someone killed off someone for the life insurance? I mean, you know, we don't want that to happen, but again,
exactly.
It's a valuable tool, and people need to understand that they need to own their own insurance. If I can drive home one tip tonight to the happy family, it is that we need to own our own insurance. That means we need to have our own regardless of what we have at work. And a little bit is better than none, and more is better if you get it right and at the right time.
Yeah.
And again, I've already said my other tip. Again, get insurance while you're young and while you're healthy. That's when you can get the most and pay the least. And you know, there's so many things to think about. And I just I really give a hats off. I think about one of my young single mother clients. She's an entrepreneur as well, has her own hair design studio. And she came to me to roll over a small 401k when she left corporate America. You know, it was less than $10,000, you know.
Okay.
But I'm always looking to uncover what else the need is. You may come to me for one thing, but I'm going to do a thorough exam just like the doctor would. And before we knew it, I have her she has her own disability policy that she can get the return of the premiums when she's in her 60s. So that's going to be like saving for retirement. She has her will, because we also do legacy planning, and I love for my clients to have a will and show them the importance of that. She's got a will. She's got insurance on her 8-year-old son, and she's got her own life insurance. She did all that with me just from coming to roll over a small 401k.
Wow. Helping out, putting people in a better situation. Happy family, again, we're talking to Juanita Cooper, the owner of J. Cooper and Associates. She specializes in just an array of financial services. Juanita, again, you gave us so many nuggets here as relates to just making sure that we start young, as relates to buying insurance, that we look at what's in our insurance, that we make sure we build that relationship, you know, with our financial professional, make sure that we're talking with our parents, you know, about what's in their insurance, and really making sure that they're up for success. What maybe one or two things kind of leaving our family with, and we definitely, we got to bring you back on. We definitely do, because I think it's so necessary as I think this pandemic and just this moment that we're in now, we need to do so many checkups to make sure that we are still like on the right path, you know, from mental to health to financial. You know, we got to have a moment to do these checkups to make sure that we're still in the right zone, that we're still heading in the right direction. You know, that we can quickly, if we feel like we're getting off course, we can definitely have, you know, go through a checkup to make sure we get back on course. So we definitely going to have you back on to talk about some other things. But, you know, if there was maybe one or two other things that you want to mention to the audience about, again, just the planning and the importance of it, what other things would you mention?
Well, as far as the planning and importance of life insurance, just first of all, take away the fear, you know, because someone that's really going to work with you to make life insurance as part of your financial plan is going to offer you options and ways to achieve and meet your goals.
Yeah.
You know, again, if someone is just selling it to you, or if you just went out there online and got some, going out online and getting some, that's fine. But at some point, you know, connecting and evaluating it is good. And just know that there is so much benefit in getting life insurance with living benefits, because life happens to us.
Yeah.
And it happens to us before we die. And knowing that you can have tax-free money coming to you to help you in a time of need is such a great improvement and a great opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity to understand and put into your plan. And know that life insurance is part of a financial plan, and you do not have to be wealthy to have a financial plan. It's not how much money you have. It's not how much money you have. Mm-hmm. It's not how much money you have. It's what you do with what you have.
Yeah. There you go.
It's
Come on.
You do with what you have.
All right.
So, yeah.
Thank you. So
that would be what I would say about that. That's what I would say about it.
Thank you so much. Happy family. Again, I want to thank Juanita Cooper for coming in, joining us on The Neighborhood. She can be reached at, again, 877-280-4977. Did I get that right?
No.
Oh, my God. What's the number again?
It's 877-208-4977.
497. My apologies. Happy family. I'll make sure I'll include that on the post. 877-208-4977. Again, I want to thank Juanita Cooper for joining us today. Want to thank you for just so much information you provided to us today. It was definitely awesome. We got to get you back on. Happy family. Again, you're listening to Happy Heal the podcast. This season, we're
Happy family. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
See you next time.
See you next time. And happy family, as always. Love God, love yourself, love your neighbor.